So in this video we are going to change the password. So the way we do that is we use the hash facade, and apologize for my voice, but my voice is kind of broken these days. And then we go in here in the update function and we basically put in a request. Inside this request we want to have to take the user ID, like when we save the information, and then we want to say user equals user find authentication user ID, and then we want to say if user. And what we want to do now is we want to say if hash check, and then we want to check if our password we enter is the same as the password we have right now. So what we want to do is we want to say request password. We're going to call this old password, and then we want to check this with user password. So if it's not the case, we want to return that this was unfortunately not a success and the password didn't match. So we can say the inset password does not match your current password. And beside that, we want to go in here and say user password is the same as request password, and then we want to say user safe, and then we want to return back with success here. And now to actually showing the view, so we want to basically just copy and paste this, and what we want to do here is we want to basically go in and just return the password view instead. Beside the fact we don't really need to return the user details because we're not gonna use any of that here, so we can actually get rid of that. The reason why is because we are not going to get the old password or anything like that, so there's no reason to do that. So let's just get rid of this here. You just want to make sure the user is authenticated, and that's it. So let's now go in and check if the view is working correctly. Just gonna close this here, and then we can go in here our resources inside our register.plate.php, and let's just copy and paste all of this, and let's put it inside the password here. What we want to do here is we want to get rid of everything beside the password fields. So this is the new password, so we also want to type that in, of course. And we want to change this all to old password. And in here we want to say the label is gonna be old password or current password. And then in here we want to say new password. And that should actually be it. So if you now go in and run this and log in, of course, we should be able to see this view here. We also need to create the route, of course, so let's go in and do that first. Okay, so what you want to do is we want to copy and paste this, and then we want to say edit password, and we want to go in here and say password edit and password update. Okay, great. So now that that's done, let's go in and implement the route in our app.blade.php. And let's go in and change password, and let's call this password.edit. So now if we go in and log in the menu, we should be able to go in and access the change password and update the password, as well be able to check if the password is the old one. So let's go in here now. And let's try to enter some random password here. And then let's say it should hopefully return back. So let's go in actually and change something here first. Let's go in our password update here and let's say return back, and here we want to say return route password.edit, and we also want to flash the message like in here. So we want to flash error and success. And then we want to say alert danger. So now if we refresh it, and if we go in and try to enter a password that does not match, we should be able to see this. Okay, so I think the error here is basically we have to go in here and we have to say, so we're checking the old password and we are also sending the request through here. Oh, we're using the wrong route, of course, that's why. That's why I was in error. So let's go in back now and change it. ideally we should see that the password is not matching. Okay, good. So what we want to do now is we want to go in and put in some validation here. So we want to go in here and we want to just copy and paste this. And we want to say old password, and we want to say required minimum 7, and we want to remove this here. And then we want to go in here and we want to first of all ensure that we have everything like it should be. So if we say old password here, and then we want to say password with password confirmation. So that means these need to be equal. And then we also want to say password confirmation need to be required. And a minimum of 7. And then we want to, actually we can remove this because we're not going to use this. So let's just remove that. And then we just want to make a conditional statement. And just copy and paste what we did here before. So we will just actually go in here and we will say if user and password, and validate, and then we will check if it is if that's okay. Actually, wait, we will put the validate all the way up here. So if both of these are true, we are going to change the password. Otherwise, we won't. And so what we are going to do now is we're going to change the password and check if we can log in with it. And let's try to see what happens. Okay, so we have an error. Okay, so this doesn't work. I will just figure out why. So the reason why it didn't work is because we need to say required with. If we now go in here and basically go back to the old page and enter the old password, the new password, and then let's go in and log out and log in again, and that should make it work. So now we just need to log in here. And Google already updated my password in Google Chrome, so that shouldn't make any difference. I think that's the other email I used. Otherwise it didn't update it. Okay, so it seems like there could be an error with this. So Yeah, of course, we changed the password, but we don't hash it. So we need to hash the password, obviously, before we do that. Otherwise, it will give an error when you try to pass on the password because it's hashing the password, but the password is not hashed. So we need to just go in and do that. Alright, so the way we do that is very simple. It's actually just going in here and say hash make, go in here, and now because we have lost access to the old email unless we want to do forget password, we just create a new user. So let's go in and create a new user, and in here let's just type in some text. And then we need to edit our profile, our password here. So if you go in and say change password, then I'm gonna change it to password. And of course also change this text to update password. So again, we will succeed unless you insert your wrong password. So the validation and all of that should work. It's only the password didn't get hashed, and therefore Laravel is trying to check a hash password that is not hashed, and that will eventually confuse the entire system and just not allow you to log in. So now what should happen is we are on the home page and we're logged in. So now let's just change the button in password.blade.php, and that should actually be it. Now you can change your password, you can edit your user details. It's very easy to add a new field. You just go in and copy and paste that and say username, for example, and add it to the migration file and so on. So we have now a fully functional authentication system except for the email activation link, which we're gonna do in the next video. And then we're also gonna just tidy up some of the code later on.